everyone, Nick from Nick's Crossing here. Welcome back to the train room for an excellent review. And guys, I bought another legacy locomotive. Couldn't believe I'd say that again in the same month, but this engine had an excellent price and it was calling my name. And that was this in my hands, Phase 4 Amtrak F40PH from Lionel's legacy line. So guys, let's review and talk about this engine. Here we go, all aboard. All right, guys, so before we get into this review, I'd like to give a shout out to White Rose Hobbies of York County, Pennsylvania. They're actually located at 4401 West Market Street, York, PA, which is really 30 West, headed towards Gettysburg. They're very close to the York Fairground, so after the York show, guys, stop by, see what they got. They carry lots of RC stuff, lots of train stuff, HO, N scale, S gauge, O scale, some G scale thrown in there, lots of scenic stuff, lots of models. And guys, they actually have an excellent rewards program, which helped bring down the cost of this engine. So after 5 visits, your 6th visit, they take that whole total, turn it into a 10% gift card of your total purchases within the 5 visits, which is really cool. So for me, it took about $100 off this engine, which is great. It kills Uncle Sam's cut towards the engine and some more meat off the bones of the total cost of this expensive engine. So guys, check them out, sign up for their free rewards program. They don't spam you or anything. They'll email you for hours and new products, stuff like that. And also, if your email's on the list for pre-orders, they email you immediately. And they'll sometimes even give you a phone call to say, hey, it's time to pick up your trains. So I thought that was really cool. So guys, check out White Rose Hobbies of York, PA. So you guys may be asking, Nick, why did you buy such a modern locomotive? You've been buying all these old steam engines and old diesels. What's going on with that? Well, guys, honestly, these engines were built in the 1970s and were retired over 20 years ago. Can you believe that? Over 20 years ago, these engines were being phased out. So already these beauties are vintage equipment, which is really sad, but there are a lot of F40PHs still around today in Canada, the United States for scenic railroads, some freight service, and down under in Panama. So I thought it was really cool. But guys, I really wanted an F40PH to run with my beautiful set of AM fleet cars in that Phase 4 scheme, along with the Express Tracks baggage car. Originally, yes, I did have a Genesis engine to pull those, but it's a Williams, fully conventional. It needs to be upgraded for sure. But guys, I really just wanted that iconic look of the F40PHs. Now, it is kind of sad. This would be the last paint scheme the F40PH would be in for regular revenue service. Yes, Amtrak made some heritage unit styles that were like cab cars, but this is the last time you'd see it in a fully operating state as a Phase 4 locomotive. So guys, how did we get the EMD F40PHs? Well, in the mid-1970s, Amtrak was looking at electrifying its entire fleet, utilizing head-end power. What that is basically there's a generator located inside the diesel cab strictly for the amenities of the coaches. Now, originally, a lot of their old equipment utilized steam power, so a steam generator would have to be inside the locomotive, which, you have to add water and also, provide electricity to create steam through a steam generator or boiler, and that steam would be pumped through all the cars for heat and other amenities. Well, Amtrak was getting tired of this, so they upgraded their fleet in the mid-1970s to use electric power. Well, the old SDP-40s did not utilize electric hand-in power, they utilized steam power, and the winter of 1976 really made these engines show their cards. So the F40PHs prevailed over top of these locomotives. Originally, these F40PHs were used for like short run services, but eventually they became the mainstream diesel locomotive power for Amtrak. So guys, there are a couple of different manufacturers of the F40PHs. The main manufacturer, of course, is EMD, GM's Electromotive Division. We also have General Motors Diesel, GMD. We also have MPI, Motive Power, and then Morrison and Knudsen, MK. So out of all of those, let's see, The builder dates 1975 to 1992 was EMD. Then we also have 1988 to 1998 MK and MPI. Now, total produced by EMD, this is crazy. 475 of these were produced by the Electromotive Division. And then 31 by MK and MPI. That is crazy, guys. And none of them are on Amtrak service right now as fully operating diesels. Amtrak did do something crazy. So they actually used the head end power in these, but also converted these to sort of a cab car system or a control unit. And they named them cabbages. Now, the crazy thing about a cabbage, I couldn't believe it. But guys, in like the three quarters down from the end of the locomotive, they put like a roll top door for a baggage compartment. So it's a cab car baggage, nicknamed a cabbage. Now, Lionel also came out with cabbage units, which is crazy. They're still expensive, but you could actually match your engine up with a cabbage. But Amtrak still uses some of these cab control units. All the motive power and such, the prime movers are missing. It's just a cab unit with an empty space. Like I said, some were used for head end power, but a lot of them were just completely removed as a cab car. All right, guys, so what happened to our beloved F40PHs? Well, guys, in 2001, Amtrak released the P42 Genesis locomotives built by General Electric. These engines are much more efficient, used a lot less fuel, go a little bit faster. Also, according to my research watching Amtrak Guy on his YouTube channel, said that 2 F40PHs could equal 1 Genesis locomotive. So if you look at that, if you correlate that information, they're a lot more efficient, and railroads like efficiency, also more importantly, saving money. So the Genesis locomotives debuted in late 2001 and are still in service today, which are now being phased out by the Siemens Chargers, which, guys, honestly, I've been at the railroad for over a year. I have not seen a Siemens Charger run on the corridor or the Keystone. Just have not seen them around, so I don't know how that's going to come into fruition. But when they're here, and I'm sure it'll be pretty quick. It's just going to be like a light, turning on a light switch, and those P42s will be retired. All right, guys, so here is our beautiful Lionel Legacy F40PH in the Phase 4 scheme. Now, Phase 3, guys, that I was talking about is literally the red, white, and blue striping down the side. Instead of the 2 red stripes with the white and this larger blue stripe, they're very even striping. The roof would have been black. Then towards the mid-cab was silver to the body of the floor. The front dash and everything was black. The roof was black, and also the front cowl or plow was also black. So that's the Phase 3. That's my favorite scheme that Amtrak did with these locomotives, but it does not match up with my Phase 4 cars that I purchased, which you guys will see very soon. But anyways, guys, we're going to look at this engine in a bunch of different places. I just looked in the cab. It actually has a lighted dash, which is really cool. But up top, you can see we have lighted number boards. We have a multi-chime horn up top. Lots of grab irons and such up top. Also lift points or loops to lift that up. I thought that was really cool. But up here on the front, we actually have brake hoses here that are just kind of free-floating, which is really nice. This plow system up front is part of that articulating coupler design from Lionel. I'm not a huge fan of these guys. This is to basically allow this locomotive to run on, I believe, 036 or 048. It just really sucks because these always get, stopped up on something. And I've heard that these can also short out a lot of the times. Same type of coupler, guys, if you're not familiar. They're on the Lionel box cars that are like the huge high cubes, like 86-foot high cubes, things like that. So that's their answer to that for sharper turns. But today we're going to run this engine on my 072 loop. Anyways, guys, we have electric couplers in the front and rear. I think we can flip those right now. Let's see, front. There we go. And also the rear. You can hear the little electric coupler sound. We also have a coupler release bar right here, which is just kind of stuck in that upright position there. But it is really nice to have just that little bit of detail on the front. Separately applied grab irons on the sides, up on the front as well. The sand ports, really nicely detailed. We also have wipers for the dash. We do have a brakeman or a conductor up in the cab. All right, guys, here's a top view of our locomotive. And on the side, really quick, just did a great job with all the detail in here. We've got side sway bars, air lines that come down to the cylinder, You can actually see the brake shoes on there. The steps up are really nice too. I really wish these doors opened. For the price of this locomotive, those doors should be opening. Did a great job on these grab irons, all separately applied metal grab irons going up. The front also, like I said, it's got that articulating coupler right there. So I thought that was kind of interesting. The side, you have the fuel cell, nothing too crazy there. It does look like we have a nice sight glass right there. Battery box, which looks kind of tilted for some reason. Not sure why that is. Grab irons. These lights do light up when the engine's activated. We do have a door back here. Like I said before, I wish you could open up these doors for the price that you pay for this locomotive. Lots of cool grab irons and such. Did a great job with that. More hoses and whatnot, wires that hang down for the head-end power features. Those are actually the caps right there for the head-end power. These are like auxiliary air lines and such. But it looks really nice. So let's start up the locomotive so you guys can check out all the cool lights. Now guys, this engine is very loud. This is the loudest setting right here. I'll show you. And here's the horn. So this engine is very loud, so if you guys take it somewhere that has multiple locomotives, you'll definitely hear this one. So that is forward. We have our two lights right there. So it should be operating in forward. Then we switch direction, those red lights will disappear and go to the head of the locomotive. And we get our two headlights. You can see right there the ruled lighting. When we're in neutral, those lights will dim. And then, like that, right there for the ruled lighting. Now guys, up front, we do have cab lighting. We have our marker lights up top that are red to signal that we're running in reverse. We also have these strobes up top that constantly go off. Really like that feature. It's really cool. Now, I can't forget the electrocouplers. So here's front and then rear, and you get the coupler sound. All right, guys, we can't forget about our smoke unit as well on the roof. Runs really nice, smokes out the room once it gets rolling. This does have labor-induced smoke. So the more labor, the more smoke. You can hear the increased fan-driven power right there. More power, and there we go. So once it's in neutral, the smoke kind of calms down. You can also turn down the smoke volume. You get the multi-button smoke choice there for more or less smoke. So guys, I do have a couple of complaints to address about this locomotive. So first off, some of the detail up top, it just looks very plasticky. It's not very flat. It has like a weird shiny look to it. So I kind of wish they would add some of that detail. Also, the vents, I wish they put in real vents up here, not just like the stamped plastic in the ABS shell. Now, because of this being all plastic, guys, it's very bottom heavy, but this engine relies heavily on the use of traction tires. Now, I've already found 2 traction tires on my layout that this engine threw out, so I'm not too impressed about that. I'm running this on 072, so it should not be throwing traction tires. It's just kind of a pet peeve of mine. But those details right there kind of are disappointing. Also, like I said earlier, that I wish these doors would open or create a better seam for the door. It just looks like one giant piece of plastic. All right, guys, got the smoke unit running, and these are some of the horn choices that you get. So here's the one that I chose. But on a Cab 1 remote, you can change the horn utilizing aux 1 and the horn button. So those are all the horns. I believe you guys heard them twice there. The bell pitch you can also change, but this is the one that I chose. Just a nice subtle chime. It sounds really nice. Now guys, a couple other features that you get. The engine does do the brake and boost sounds. So here's the brake. And they put it in reverse here. So thought that was very nice. So guys, I hear crew talk all the time, and this crew talk is nowhere close to being prototypical for the railroad.
Home dispatch. Ready for our priorities on 22. Over. You're cleared onto the main. Take the green. Out.
So just letting you guys know an inside scoop. Don't want to get too far into it, but as a dispatcher, if I was answering that radio call, you don't know who they are, what train they're on, what railroad they're even on. They don't even say Amtrak engineer or their last name to say who they are and what they're doing. So it's not very prototypical at all. I'm just letting you guys know. It kind of bothers me because I hear real crew talk at Amtrak every day on the road channel. So this crew talk, it's like a negative negative review. I'm sorry, but it is kind of cool. You do get the typical like.
Let me know as soon as 724 gets by. We ought to have a little time to do something. All right, we'll call you right behind 724 then.
It's like the little cab chatter right there. But just letting you guys know, on the railroad, everything's about communication, letting people know who you are, what you're doing, your craft, your name, all that stuff is extremely important. You don't even know what dispatcher they're contacting. They don't know what section they're on. So it's just me being nitpicking to this crew talk because I hear it every day at work. But anyways, guys, let's get this beautiful engine hooked up to the cars and run her around the layout. All aboard. All right, everyone, that's going to conclude this review and run session of my newly acquired Lionel Legacy F40PH in the Amtrak Phase 4 scheme. Now, guys, I am really happy to say that this engine is a great runner. Have had no problems so far, knock on wood. The only weird issue that I had was while running it in the higher RPM settings with the volume up, the speaker kind of overmodulates, and then you hit the horn, and the horn is kind of like phased out. You get like a weird buzzing effect. So that is kind of concerning. So I'm not going to run it on that upper volume anymore. Just kind of leave her at a chill volume. But like I said, guys, for that $500+ price tag, you shouldn't have to do anything with these engines. They should be absolutely perfect, full of detail. There should be no nitpicking or anything with these engines. They should be like absolutely perfect. So that is another complaint that I have to add to that little small list of complaints with the details and all of that. But anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this honest review and run session. And if you're new to the channel, always consider subscribing. Give a like, leave a comment below. Love to know if you guys ever ran behind one of these before or have seen them out in the wild. Be really cool to know in comments. Anyways, guys, until next time, happy railroading. We'll see you next time. See you guys.